In this lecture for Introduction to the College Experience, we will be talking about motivation. How important do educators think motivation is for your academic success? Well, if you guess that you think educators think it's important, you are right. Motivation is essential for you to be successful in your career. But how do we know how motivated we are? What determines how motivated we are? Think about things that motivate you in your life. Maybe you're motivated to get your degree so that you can have a better job, make more money, have a better life for yourself and for your family. If your motivation is low right now, we're going to talk about what we can do to increase your motivation. And if your motivation is already high, we're going to see what we can do to keep it high throughout the semester and beyond. Generally, at the beginning of a semester, students' motivation is pretty high. They're excited about the new semester, excited about their new classes, and motivated to do well. But as the semester goes on, other things in life tend to slow us down, and we become less motivated. The equation for motivation is motivation equals value times your expectation. So let's talk about each of those characteristics, value and expectation. So think about what is important to you, what things you value. So they could be beliefs or customs. Some examples might be you value your health, you value your family, you value your education. And then think about why those things are on your list. Are they on your list because someone else told you that they're important? Maybe your parents raised you with certain values. Maybe you observed something that someone else was doing that made you believe that that thing was important. Maybe you observed someone at a job that has a degree and is able to have a higher level job because of their degree. So maybe that makes you feel that education is important. And how about your cultural influences? Different cultures have different values, beliefs, and customs, so they often have an impact on the things that are most important to us. So when we're talking about value in terms of your education, the value of your education is determined by the benefits that you think that you will achieve after you get your college degree. So when you made your list of the things that you value, was education one of those things on your list? If it was, or even if it wasn't, is education something that is valued in your culture? In some cultures, education is not valued as highly as it is in other cultures. So looking at value in terms of your college degree, what benefits do you think you will receive from obtaining a college degree? Maybe you feel like you'll get a better job, a higher paying job, you'll be able to support your family better, you'll be able to afford to do more fun things in your life. And then ask yourself, what are you willing to pay for a college degree? And not so much just in terms of the monetary expense of going to college, but what other costs? Are you willing to give up time going out with your friends, time doing things with your family? You'll have to limit some of the time that you spend doing other things in order to achieve your college degree. So what costs are you willing to pay? After thinking about the things we value and what costs we are willing to pay, I want you to give yourself a score from 0 to 10 on the value that you would place on your education, with 10 being the highest value. Make sure you jot this number down somewhere, your number for value. The next part of the motivation equation is your expectation. So when thinking about your education, expectation is how likely you think it is that you can get a college degree if you put a reasonable effort into it. So we have to ask ourselves the question, has anyone ever said that you will not be able to be successful in college? Or maybe they said, yes, you will be successful in college. How does that make you feel when someone told you either that you would or you wouldn't be successful in college? And how strongly do you believe that they were telling you the truth? How strongly do you believe that you will or will not be successful in college? Sometimes even ourselves we think that maybe we won't be able to be successful in college. Maybe we didn't do so well in high school. Maybe we've been out in the workforce for a couple of years and we feel like maybe this isn't right for me. So what is your strongest belief about the likelihood of your success in college? Do you believe that you will be able to be successful? So in order for us to be motivated, it's important that we believe that we're a good student and that we have a strong educational background. Those things will help us in terms of increasing our motivation. Thinking about your courses this semester, how challenging are those courses? And if you have really challenging courses, you might have to sacrifice a few more things in order to be successful. When you get into higher level courses, often it takes more time to study outside of class in order to be successful in those classes. So again, I want you to rank your expectation on a scale from 1 to 10, your expectation of obtaining a college degree if you put in a reasonable effort, with 10 being the highest and 0 being the lowest. Again, make sure to jot down your score for expectation. Then to calculate our score for motivation, we can take the value, so use the score that you put for value, and your score for expectation, multiply those two numbers together, and that will give you your degree of motivation. So if you had a 10 for value and a 10 for expectation, you would have a 100 for motivation. So if your motivation score isn't as high as you would like, what are some strategies that you could use in your life to help increase your motivation score? Maybe it's looking at your classes and spending some more time, looking at the outcomes of reaching your college degree. And if your score is already high, what is helping you to stay motivated? And how can you work to keep that motivation high throughout the semester? Staying motivated throughout the semester is key to achieving your goals. So staying motivated this semester and beyond, staying motivated in whatever activities you're doing in order to reach your desired dreams, goals, and outcomes that you desire.